Okay, it should be coming up.
Yep. Streaming live on Facebook, it says on mine.
There you go.
Hello?
Yep.
Yep. I see Andrea. I see Andrew. Mr. Cox. Mr. Hawk. Susan. Can't find anybody else. Nope.
There's Kevin Bickett.
Yeah, there's Kelly.
All right. You guys hear me? I'm having some trouble with my connection.
Right now,
You were up for a minute.
Okay.
We hear you.
You got me now?
Yep.
Some trouble with my connection.
right now,
All kinds of trouble.
You got a black shirt on?
That's Jim.
How about red?
Yep, I got a red one.
Okay.
All
You're
right.
there.
So we're gonna start our committee meetings. We have 6 first readings on our regular agenda, no second, third, or pending, and we have 1 first reading on our supplemental agenda. We'll go into Laws and Ordinance Committee with Ms. Norris. Andrea?
Thank you. We'll go into Laws and Ordinance Committee at, I don't know, what time is it?
6:04.
6:04. We have one item for this committee, 20-0-05, an ordinance to replace the Franklin Township Personnel Policies and Procedures Manual as previously adopted by the City of New Franklin with a revised policy manual, and declaring that this resolution shall be effective immediately upon passage. Paul, you've been talking about this for a while. We adopted the township's policies and procedures. You revised it and then you gave it to the personnel board, I believe.
I'm sorry. Yes, that's correct. And we gave it to them in council at the same time. Council had some suggestions which we incorporated, addressed those, met with the Personnel Advisory and Appeals Board. And on October 27th, they unanimously recommended adoption. So now it's before, pursuant to our charter, it's now before council for council's recommendation for adoption. And this is 14 years later. We've been a city since '06. So there's about 14 years worth of work put into this, I guess I would say, but pretty intensely the last 6 months. And a lot of eyes on it, and a lot of chance for revision. All the department heads guided by Clemens Nelson Associates legal group that specializes in this area. So we feel it's up to date and it addresses its current. Because you've had a chance to see it, obviously we're open to discussion on this, but if there's no further objections, I would ask you to waive the 3 readings just so we can get this in place. Because right now, anything that comes up, we're dealing with it with the Franklin Township Policy Manual, albeit it was adopted by council, and it's a city document now, but still, there's a lot of language in there that talks about what the trustees will do, what the township will do, and it would be good to have this in place.
Any questions from members of the committee? Any council members object to waiving the 3 readings tonight? Thank you, David. We'll close our committee and we'll ask to waive the 3 readings and pass this evening. We'll conclude our committee at 6:07.
All right. Thank you, Andrea. I'm just gonna.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Andrea. I'm gonna bring this up right now because I'm unaware of this. Maybe Katie, you can help me out. We did get a comment I want to get to right now. The comment is, in your last meeting, some people blocked their comments to people. I asked you to take care of this issue. This is wrong to people who are blocked. You cannot allow this to happen. I'm unaware of that, Katie. Are you? I read every comment that came across last week. Are you aware of anything like that?
Sorry, I was responding to that one too. We do not block anybody and we don't block anybody's comments. They're all there. The only thing that could be happening is that if an individual Facebook user blocks somebody else, then those comments wouldn't be seen by one another. So that's not on our end. But we have all of that documentation. If anybody would need it, we can get it for you, but we don't block anybody or their comments.
Yeah, I didn't think we did either. So, all right, I just want to take care of that because that just came up, and we're going to go ahead and move on to, we'll go into the Finance Committee. Jim?
Okay, we will open Finance Committee at 6:08. Our first resolution this evening is 20R55, a resolution authorizing New Franklin to apply for a Justice Assistance Grant for the purchase of 6 Motorola APX 6000 series radios and declaring that this resolution shall be effective immediately upon passage. You may remember that we did something similar to this, applying for a grant back in August, and this is basically a applying for a second grant. We haven't received information whether the first one has been accepted or not, but this is like double barrel, and we get one, great. If we get two, we cancel one and just go with one. Captain Bickett is here and be able to maybe give a little more information on it and answer any questions you might have.
Yeah, actually, we can use them both if we get them both, because you guys approved purchase the 13, and if we get the 7 that we've already applied for, we'll reimburse ourselves. And if we get this 6, that would Captain Bickett, I think we're talking about 6 new radios on this one. Is that right? In addition to 13.
Yeah, this grant we're applying for, there's the money's for 6. We need 7 total to get us to where we need to be. But the grant in August we applied for 7. This grant would cover 6 of them. And like I said, we already bought the 13. So.
But if the 7 is the previous 7, if we get that, we'll use that to reimburse ourselves towards the 13 that were already purchased. Is that right, Susan?
Yes, as far as I know, yes.
All right, thanks.
Okay, even better. Anybody else have questions, comments? Then I suggest we waive the 3 readings on this and keep our fingers crossed. Okay, next resolution is resolution 20R56, a resolution authorizing New Franklin to apply for a fiscal year 2021 Marks grant for the purchase of 9 Motorola APX XE radios and accessories, together with subscriber fees for 31 radios, and declaring that this resolution shall be effective immediately upon passage. Chief Leslie is here, and I will let him talk all about this beautiful grant.
Yeah, thank you. This grant is to replace 9 of our portable radios that are currently, they're anywhere between 10 and 15 years old. The biggest thing with them is that they're no longer supported by Motorola. So you can't get parts for them. So once they break, they're gone. So this grant here has no match to it, nothing on our end. It's through State Fire Marshal's office and the Marks communication for the statewide communication. And it allows us, the nice thing about this is it'll allow us to buy the 9 radios, but then it also, this grant allows us to get 50% of our subscriber fees for the Marks system paid for, not only for the 9 new radios, but also for our existing radios. So, and it'll pay for it for 1 year. So we get a 50% reduction in the cost of our radios for the service agreement for the monthly service. So it's actually a very good grant.
Anyone have questions? And as Chief Leslie mentioned, this grant, there's no cost to us on this one. And I failed to mention with the police grant, the previous resolution, there is a 10% matching fee of $2,000. It's a $20,000 grant. and then $850 to Gatchel for the grant writing. Mayor Adamson, did you have anything to add on either of these grants?
No, I'm just, pleased and proud that police and fire continue to beat the bushes here. Leland Matheny helping us as well, our grants coordinator, to try to find these grants, and they're doing a nice job putting the applications in. I sure hope we get them.
Yep, absolutely. And absolutely, thank you to Chief Leslie and Captain Bickett for taking the time out of their day to spend a few minutes with us. It really is appreciative that we have the support of y'all showing up and helping answer questions. Moving on to resolution 20R59.
Hey, Jim, can I interrupt 1 second?
Yes, sir.
Would it be okay if Steve and if the chief and the captain excuse themselves at this point?
They're welcome to stay and enjoy the festivities. But no, I don't think we have any further business with them.
Right.
The
Thanks,
only-
gentlemen.
Okay,
Thank you.
the only, if I may say, as far as this grant goes, it's due in, I have to submit this grant tomorrow. So I don't know, as far as the 3 readings go, October was the
Hey,
month.
Steve,
for
I think
this-
I think they already agreed they're going to waive the 3 readings.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. My apologies.
That's all right.
Yeah, I don't know that I mentioned that, and it's a good point. So does anybody have an issue with waiving the 3 on that resolution?
No.
No,
I just kind of thought we were going to go right into it. All right.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chief.
All right, thank you.
Okay, resolution 20R59, a resolution authorizing additional appropriations for the 2020 annual operating appropriations budget and declaring that this resolution shall be effective immediately upon passage. And this has to do with our COVID money. Which one would like to speak on this?
I guess I can. I mean, it's just basically making sure that all the amounts that we have received so far are added to our annual appropriations so that we can use them. And as you can see, the majority are going to be used for personnel services. We have set aside at the mayor's request about 100,000 for other services for things that we have purchased during the because of COVID, computers, the plexiglass walls, that kind of thing. And we've got a number of those kinds of things that we are, and the truck that's on there for tonight. So we have a few items that we were going to put on there. So that's why there's 100,000 that is dedicated to other services.
And thank you, Susan. If this has been a roller coaster, as you know, and you guys have ridden it along with us in terms of what percentage of the CARES funds could be used for reimbursement for our safety forces. And it's been as low as 15% up to 100%. Most recently, we're told 100%. The auditor's office had said, yeah, even then, you might want to think about something less than 100%. I spoke with them, with the point person down there at the auditor's office 2 days ago, and confirmed that the problem was the rules coming out of the Treasury Department as to whether or not, to what extent you could use CARES funds to reimburse yourself for safety forces. And the buzzwords were that you could only use it to reimburse the safety forces to the extent that they were substantially dedicated to the COVID crisis. And then, well, how do we prove what percentage of their time is spent there? And then a Treasury guideline came out and said that you could presume that 100% of their time is COVID related. And so I think they wanted to take the chains off of this, off the use of these funds. But back in, I don't know, late September, the auditor's office said that, well, that's what Treasury's saying, but the inspector generals are also going to weigh in on this, and we're not sure what they're going to say. So I think it was 2 days ago. I talked, it seems like 2 months, I talked again to Marnie Nickerson from the auditor's office, and she said that the inspector general's office has now weighed in, and they're in agreement with the Treasury that we could use 100% of the payroll for safety forces could be reimbursed through CARES. We're not going to do that. I think the way the numbers crunch out, we're going to come, and we'll have this for you in 2 weeks, somewhere around 40% of the payroll from March 1st through the end of December that we will reimburse ourselves for our safety forces. What we did was we carved out 100,000 out of this 1.5 million for purchases we had already made that were clearly COVID related, and for 1 or 2 more that we're going to make, subject to your approval, that are COVID related, sort of a just in case. So the rabbit gets pulled out of the hat sometime in March or April, and Treasury says, no, you can't use all of that for this. And you know, that might impact the 1.4 million, but it wouldn't impact this 100,000. So that's why we carved out 100,000 for other services and charges. I don't know, we got a running list of it right now. I'll be talking to you about it in 2 weeks.
It's a zoning meeting.
I think we're gonna be right around that amount of money that we spent for other COVID related charges. So that's probably more than you need to know, but that's my update on the CARES money. And it's a good thing, because the bottom line is it looks like we'll be able to use all the funds, and 1.4 million of it will go into our treasury to cover revenue shortfalls this year and get us ready for next year, because we keep waiting for that second wave. And, you know, well, they're a little bit busy in Washington, D.C. right now. So we don't know when that's going to happen. Thanks for letting me ramble on that.
Questions? Anyone? Comments? We'll ask to waive the 3 readings on this. Moving on to our supplemental agenda. Resolution 20R60, a resolution authorizing New Franklin to enter into an agreement with Toth Buick GMC for the purchase of a 2021 GMC Sierra 2500 heavy-duty truck and accessories for the service department, and declaring that this resolution shall be effective immediately upon passage. This is a truck that is in need for the service department. And I believe it was something scheduled to purchase this year, but we put it off, and now we're back on, and we have an opportunity here. And the total price with everything is going to be $29,651 for the truck, and that's based on state bid pricing. And then an additional $4,231.84 for the accessories that are needed for this truck, snowplow attachment and things along those lines. Questions, comments? Go ahead, Mayor. I know you want to.
Oh, no, it's well, just this was one of the items we will be purchasing or reimbursing ourselves out of the CARES funds on this one. And you're correct, Mr. Kotz. This was in the budget and the appropriations for this year. We had it at a line item of $40,000 in that budget, so it actually comes in pretty well under that the number that we thought it would be. But we need it, and we'll be able to. This will be part of the 100,000 that we reimburse ourselves.
Okay.
But we would like to see if we can. We'd like to finish this tonight if we can. As you know, we have certain deadlines in terms of purchase and taking delivery, et cetera.
Right. And I know Mr. Kepler has worked with other dealers, verifying the price, make sure we're getting the best price we can. And I believe he has gotten that best price. And Toth GMC has been very cooperative also in helping get this price in this vehicle for us. And we do need to move quickly on this so that it could get ordered, get in, and everything that goes with that. So we'll be asking to waive the 3. Questions, comments?
Yeah, Jim, for that kind of truck, that's a pretty daggone good price. So he did his homework on that, and they're giving us a real good deal on a truck like that.
Yep.
That's my comment.
Okay. I think that does it for the Finance Committee, so we will close at 6:22.
All right, thank you, Jim. I think we're gonna move over to community development. Andy?
Right, open community development, 622, two resolutions tonight, 20R57. A resolution authorizing the city of New Franklin to enter into a 2-year policing contract with the village of Clinton and declaring that this resolution shall be effective immediately upon passage. I'm going to try to summarize and I'll let you fill in the gaps there. So we were it's a 4-year renewal. And that 4 years was roughly 127,000 a year. The
Yes.
proposed would have been roughly 182,000 for the next 4 years, although we're looking at maybe 150,000 possibly, just due to the city or the village of Clinton looking for other options. Is that pretty much a summary?
It is, Mr. Fetterman. This started back in 2011, and by 2016, the number was up to 75,000. That then took about a $51,000 bump for 2017, and that was at least that year. I don't know if previous, I can't recall, but that's when they certainly they did it on a per capita basis. They took the whole police budget, divided it by the total population of Clinton and New Franklin, came up with a per person cost for policing, multiplied that by the number of residents in Clinton, and that's where the 126,884 came from. We used the same formula this time to begin discussions with them, and as you say, it came out to 181,829. Clinton is like everybody else is struggling financially, some more than others. The smaller the municipality, the more they're struggling. As I'm on these statewide calls, I'm already aware that there's some villages that have already disbanded and because of their financial crunch. And Clinton, I'm sure, would tell you the same thing, that they're in a crunch. So we offered the same deal that we did back in 2017, 4 years at the 181,000, or if they couldn't afford that, we offered 2 years at 150,000. Their council considered it 2 weeks ago. I started talking to them back in May, and they really hadn't even made a choice between the two of them by October. So in October, I sent them the 2-year deal. And then they started talking about it. And meanwhile, they were shopping it like they did before. And they got prices from Canal Fulton and from they tried to get a price from the sheriff. I don't think they were able to. Our price is a bargain. And as Judy knows, that we've had these discussions before. There's always been a balance that we've been able, we do think it's a bargain, but at the same token, it's been $126,000 went into our police budget each year. And it has not, we don't feel that it is in any way taken away from the services we're providing to New Franklin. So that was the situation. I spoke with their mayor last Friday. Their council isn't sure what they're going to do. I suggested to her that maybe they might want to consider just doing a 1-year deal. They wanted to start talking about, can you do this? And can you give us these numbers? And can you tell us that? And, I told her, this thing's a bargain already. And if you guys don't want to do it, we get it. We can use the money, but we don't absolutely have to have the money. So I knocked it back into their court essentially and asked them to maybe think about a 1-year contract. And then we'd have next year to have those further discussions and give them a better opportunity to see what they're going to do. And there's a lot of discussion going on in Clinton. There's a ballot drive going on to see if Clinton can move into Stark County.
Okay.
So they feel that there's people down there that feel they're more closely aligned with Stark County. They're all in the Northwest School District, and that's in Stark County. So I think they're in a little bit of a state of flux. And remember, they got a new mayor. Al Mack was down there for a long time. So I would say it was mostly long, but now I'll give you the short of it. They got a meeting Thursday. And so I would ask you to take time on this and then see I got a Zoom meeting with the mayor on Friday to see what came out of their Thursday meeting. I'll report back to you folks. And then we'll see what they want to do. And then we'll see what you guys want to do.
All right. Does anyone else have any questions or concerns?
I do. Mr. Mayor, if I recall, 4 years ago, didn't we have an issue, or maybe not an issue, but where Clinton was unsure, they decided to go with somebody else, and then that fell through, and like at the last day or two of the year, they're like, oh yeah, okay, here we go. We're going to, we'll sign now. Or are we going to be in that same situation where, possibly our police department has to, kind of, I don't know if they have to do any scrambling or anything different to prepare for their exit or prepare for them to stay on? Does that make any sense?
Yeah, there's some things we'd have to do to untangle dispatch. I think would be the primary thing. I'm not sure beyond that that would be difficult for us to bow out. But Captain, is that a fair assessment that the dispatch would be the more difficult issue?
Yeah, dispatch is really the only issue. Our staffing would remain the same. So just mostly be where their 911 calls go to and who dispatches whatever service they choose. But as far as the number of officers on the street, that won't be affected.
Yeah, you're right. It looks like in 2016, that was December 7th when that was introduced. So I have made that, I've let them know that I'm hoping to get an answer from them and be in a position to tell you folks on the 18th what they would like to do. And personally, I'm inclined to say 1 year, even rather than 2 years, quite frankly, because we're moving into our new dispatch next year. And there's going to have to be some discussion relative to that. So it might be in our best interest just to make it a 1 year deal at this point. So I guess I'll reserve on that until I see what Clinton suggests.
I would.
All right. Anyone else? All right. So we'll move
Okay,
on to
no.
Resolution 20R58, a resolution by the Council of the City of New Franklin to adopt the Summit County Solid Waste Management Plan by the Summit Akron Solid Waste Management Authority, DBA Reworks for New Franklin.
Andy, let me just interrupt real quick. Dave's trying to get back into the meeting.
Yeah, I noticed he dropped off. Well,
Okay, just wanted you to know.
thank you, ma'am. So this is basically every 5 year renewal, I believe. And we have a guest speaker at our next meeting.
Yes, that's accurate.
Yeah.
I don't think there's
Nothing
going to be
real
any surprises, but
Yeah,
that's accurate.
okay. All right, does anyone have any questions about that? No, okay, we will close community development at 6:30. And does anyone else have anything for their committees? All right, call to order the City of New Franklin City Council meeting, Wednesday, November 4th, 2020. Please stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the
of the United States of America and to the republic
for
for which
which
it
it stands,
stands,
one
one
nation,
nation,
under
under
God,
God,
indivisible,
indivisible,
with
with
liberty
liberty
and justice for all.
all.
All right, let me dust off my skills. We have a roll call of the members, please, Kelly.
Mr. Cotts,
Present.
Mr. Hargit,
Present.
Mrs. Jones,
Present.
Mr. Fetterman.
Here.
Mr. Hawk,
Here.
Miss Norris,
Here,
Mr. Stock.
he's trying to get back in, Kelly. He just called.
Okay,
Little difficulties.
I'm having trouble too, but not the same.
All right, so we'll move into the approval of the minutes of the regularly scheduled meeting from October 21st of 2020.
Second,
Roll call, please.
Mr. Hargit,
Yes.
Mrs. Jones,
Yes.
Mr. Fetterman,
Yes.
Mr. Hawk,
Yes.
Miss Norris,
yes.
Mr. Cotts,
Yes.
Mr. Stock? Not yet?
Yeah. All right, so we'll move into the public comment section. Katie, what do we have?
All right, we do have one at the moment. Sorry, switching screens over here. He says, good evening, great to see everyone and thanks for the time you guys put in. I have 2 questions. First, I had asked at the last meeting about a possible food drive effort for the needy in the community. Second, I've recently noticed that not all police calls end up having a report filed. If the police end up responding to a call, why wouldn't there be a report? This should be done regardless of if the person calling wants to press charges or not. Once again, thanks for all you do.
Kevin? I don't know if anything has happened with the food drive, Kevin. Mayor, I haven't heard anything.
No, we're going to put one together. But we're in the process of that, and we appreciate the suggestion. I made some reference to that in one of my posts the other day that we're not out of the hard times by a long shot. We haven't had requests, which is kind of interesting, but you know, people out here are humble. Relative to reports, I believe there is a report, and I know there were 2 incidents that folks were interested in this week finding reports on. I'm not sure why they were unable to find the reports. The reports do exist. I have copies of them, and if any individual wants to reach out, I think directly to police, they'll be able to provide copies of reports. But as a general rule, Captain Bickett, if the police respond to a call, what's the parameters or the protocol in terms of when a report is filed, or what type of incident might result in no report?
It's not necessary that every call there's a report taken. A lot of times if the victim doesn't want to make a report, that's their right. That's a public record, and sometimes they just don't want their business to be known like that. So if they're a victim of the crime, as far as an actual incident report, it's not always taken. There's always a CAD report created though, and that's public record if they want to get that report. So that's something that the dispatcher types when the call comes in. It's the really basic information of what, but an actual incident report is not created.
And then if there's an incident, particular incident that somebody's looking for a report on, what's the best way for them to pursue that?
The easiest way is just to get online on the city's website. They can type in the address or the date and search the reports that way. They take about a week, 5 days to get uploaded from when the incident happened. By the time it makes its way through the supervisor and gets approved and maybe even redacted. So there's about a 5-day window there for a report to hit on the website. And again, if anybody's having problems, they can always call the station. I can look into it or print one out for them. But that's really the easiest way is the city's website.
And I'm fair to say there's no index on these. In other words, if somebody wanted to know, they want to find reports on loud noise complaints for the last 6 months. They wouldn't just be able to plug in loud noise and come up with dates. Is that it's not cross-referenced that way?
No, I don't believe so. I think it's really just the address, the date.
Yeah.
You can by name. But again, that's something that we have no problem getting for you. If someone wants that information, I can look it up on my computer and print those out and get to them. So they can always call in and talk.
And what you're telling me is consistent with what my experience was when I was out there doing that for all those years. In other departments, including Akron, you had to have some identifier, the name of the individual, a street, a date, something concrete, rather than just there was a shooting complaint on, a week ago. Okay.
Right.
But I'd encourage if you're looking for something specific, just reach out directly to our police and they will help you find it.
Captain Bickett, just to clarify, if an incident report is filed, it is on the website.
Yes, every report we take is uploaded to the website.
Okay.
Y'all, Katie, I didn't see anything else come in. Is that correct?
Correct. That's all I see right now.
All right, we'll move into our
Andy?
legislation. Oh, yes, Mr.
I'm sorry, honey. I just wanted to comment on the food drive. a lot of the area churches have food pantries. And I know that the Barberton Community Ministries does a lot in New Franklin, and people should never be embarrassed to call, because a lot of New Franklin residents are supporting some of these things, and everybody wants to do it for each other. It's just that these services can buy the food in greater quantity for less money.
All right. Thank you very much. Okay. Give me a second here. I just got a warning. My internet is unstable, like its user. So we'll move into our
Who's your internet
legislation.
provider?
Let's not talk about that. Move into our legislation. Ordinance number 20-0-05, Kelly.
An ordinance to replace the Franklin Township Personnel Policies and Procedures Manual as previously adopted by the City of New Franklin with a revised policy manual, and declaring that this resolution shall be effective immediately upon passage.
Pursuant to our discussion in the committee, I'm going to go ahead and move that we waive the 3 readings.
Second.
All right, first and second. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Jones,
Yes.
Mr. Fetterman,
Yes.
Mr. Hawk,
Yes.
Ms. Norris,
Yes.
Mr. Cotts,
Yes.
Mr. Hargit.
Yes.
Is Mr. Stock on yet?
I don't see him.
Okay.
Andrea.
Yeah, I was listening for the phone. I was wondering if that was Dave calling somebody.
Gotcha.
I go ahead and move that we pass this ordinance tonight.
Second.
Second.
All right, you got a first and second. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Jones,
Yes.
Mr. Fetterman,
Yes.
Mr. Hawk,
Yes.
Ms. Norris,
Yes.
Mr. Cotts,
Yes.
Mr. Hargit.
Yes.
All right, that passes. And we'll go with resolution 20R55, Kelly.
A resolution authorizing New Franklin to apply for a Justice Assistance Grant for the purchase of 6 Motorola APX 6000 series radios, and declaring that this resolution shall be effective immediately upon passage.
Hey,
This resolution has been assigned to the
Jim?
finance. Yes.
I'm sorry. I want to let you know, I got Dave on the phone here. Dave, can you hear all of us? Can you hear us, David?
Somebody's talking.
All right. Well, we'll see if Dave can participate that way, if it's okay with you guys. I'm sorry, Jim.
Not a problem. This resolution is assigned to the finance committee, and we move to waive the 3 readings on resolution 20R55.
Second.
First and second. Roll call, please.
Mr. Fetterman,
Yes.
Mr. Hawk,
Yes.
Ms. Norris,
Yes.
Mr. Stock,
Yes.
Mr. Cotts,
Yes.
Mr. Hargit,
Yes.
Mrs. Jones.
Yes.
We move to adopt resolution 20R55.
Second.
First and second. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Fetterman,
Yes.
Mr. Hawk,
Yes.
Ms. Norris,
Yes.
Mr. Stock,
Yes.
Mr. Cotts,
Yes.
Mr. Hargit,
Yes.
Mrs. Jones.
Yes.
Right, that passes 7-0. Hey, Dave, would you like to take back over?
I'll tell you what, Andy, it's probably easier just to let you do it since you got better things going on right now.
All right, we'll move on to resolution 20-R-56.
A resolution authorizing New Franklin to apply for a FY 2021 Marks grant for the purchase of 9 Motorola APX XE radios and accessories, together with subscriber fees for 31 radios and declaring that this resolution shall be effective immediately upon passage.
This resolution is assigned to the Finance Committee. We move to waive the 3 readings on 20R56.
Second.
Second.
All right, we have first and second. Can I have a roll call, please?
Mr. Hawk,
Yes.
Ms. Norris,
yes,
Mr. Stock,
Yes.
Mr. Cotts,
Yes.
Mr. Hargit,
yes,
Mrs. Jones,
yes,
Mr. Fetterman.
Yes.
We move to adopt Resolution 20R56.
second,
First and second, any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Hawk,
Yes.
Ms. Norris,
yes,
Mr. Stock,
Yes.
Mr. Cotts,
Yes.
Mr. Hargit,
yes,
Mrs. Jones,
yes,
Mr. Fetterman.
Yes. All right, that passes 7-0. Moving on to Resolution 20-R-57.
A resolution authorizing the city of New Franklin to enter into a 2-year policing contract with the village of Clinton and declaring that this resolution shall be effective immediately upon passage.
Resolution was assigned to Community Development, and we're going to ask for time on it. We'll move on to Resolution 20-R-58.
A resolution by the council of the city of New Franklin to adopt the Summit County Solid Waste Management Plan by the Summit Akron Solid Waste Management Authority, doing business as Reworks for New Franklin.
This was also assigned to Community Development, and we will ask for time on this one as well. So it moves us into Resolution 20-R-59.
A resolution authorizing additional appropriations to the 2020 annual operating appropriation budget and declaring that this resolution shall be effective immediately upon passage.
This resolution is assigned to the Finance Committee. We move to waive the 3 readings on Resolution 20R-59.
second,
First and second, roll call, please.
Mr. Cotts,
Yes.
Mr. Hargit,
yes,
Mrs. Jones,
yes,
Mr. Fetterman,
Yes.
Mr. Hawk,
Yes.
Ms. Norris,
yes,
Mr. Stock.
Yes.
We move to adopt Resolution 20R-59.
second,
second,
First and second, any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Cotts,
Yes.
Mr. Hargit,
yes,
Mrs. Jones,
yes,
Mr. Fetterman,
Yes.
Mr. Hawk,
Yes.
Ms. Norris,
yes,
Mr. Stock.
Yes.
Right, that passes 7-0. Move on to our supplemental. Resolution 20-R-60.
A resolution authorizing New Franklin to enter into an agreement with Toth Buick GMC for the purchase of a 2021 GMC Sierra 2500 HD truck and accessories for the service department and declaring that this resolution shall be effective immediately upon passage.
This resolution is assigned to the Finance Committee. We move to waive the 3 readings on 20R-60.
second,
second,
First and second, roll call, please.
Mr. Hargit,
yes,
Mrs. Jones,
yes,
Mr. Fetterman,
Yes.
Mr. Hawk,
Yes.
Ms. Norris,
yes,
Mr. Stock,
Yes.
Mr. Cotts.
Yes. We move to adopt Resolution 20R-60.
second,
second,
First and second, any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Hargit,
yes,
Mrs. Jones,
yes,
Mr. Fetterman,
Yes.
Mr. Hawk,
Yes.
Ms. Norris,
yes,
Mr. Stock,
Yes.
Mr. Cotts.
Yes.
All right, that passes 7-0. We have no second, third, or pending legislation, and we're moving into everybody's favorite time. The Mayor's report.
Yeah, boy, thank you. Let's see here. Well, we've already talked about the CARES Act funds. The COG is moving forward. The initial meeting was a week ago Monday, and the bylaws have been forwarded down to the auditor. Once they are approved, then the COG will be able to begin formal actions. The meetings are still going on. The planning is still going on. It's anticipated at this time that a rough target date for going live on the dispatch over there will be at about the end of the first quarter of next year. And I think we're on pace to make that happen. And there's a lot that has to happen in between, but we'll keep you posted on all that. So that's a good thing, and it's going forward. Let's see, the Aqua project, the construction meeting, pre-construction meeting is going to be November 18th. And so by all accounts, we got the final, the government being what government is, even though it was announced back in July, the actual formal final approval from EPA just came in this week. But meanwhile, Aqua's been doing the engineering, and so we'll have a meeting November 18th, and it's conceivable they may even break ground here before the end of the year. But we certainly fully expect that by this time next year, the water will be on State Route 93. We did a presentation last week for those 13 public water systems. And also we reached out to all property owners, business owners on State Route 93 in that commercial corridor, and then some, around the corner, of course, into Flowers by Dick and the sports shop and some of the other stakeholders in the city. And we to update them on what was going on with the water, which I've just told you, the sewer. We are looking at 2 years, but and that will be really the initial project, and it's going to be years before anything happens after that. So, and we are already talking. We have people, folks over on Nimisila, but that corridor there at Nimisila 93 is also ripe for some commercial development. There's a lot of commercial activity there already, but gravity is keeping the sewer from going there. And right now, finances are keeping the water, but we've got a pretty good plan to extend the water there. And we are continuing our discussions with Summit County to see about getting the water down there to that stretch as well. I think it would require a pump station, and that's expensive. And that's not
Every 2 weeks.
that. Hey, David, you on there?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So anyway, that's what's going on there. That presentation we did is available on the website if anybody wants to check it out. The leaf drop-offs will continue weekly, and the leaves are sure dropping off. That's continuing. I know I'm staying busy in my yard. And South Main Street, it looks like that project is done, and by all accounts, I haven't heard any complaints, but we did get some compliments, so that was a nice piece as well. We have, there'll be some more grant applications coming your way. We're chasing down another grant to try to cover part of the money for Benner Road. Kungle Road, I have nothing new to report. I'm so sad to report that I have nothing new to report, but we haven't forgotten about you over there on Kungle Road, and we're going to come up with a plan. It's a little tough to force the issue right now. To get people in meaningful discussions in the city and in the county, because there's just so much on everybody's plate and so many people with their hand out, rightfully so, that it's a little difficult right now to twist somebody's arm to get them to put some money into that project. But we're not going to let that go. We're going to get that bridge up, and I don't know how soon, but as soon as we possibly can. So that's all I have.
All right. Moving to finance.
If I may,
Oh,
if I may, real quick, with the Kungle Road Bridge, and I agree with what you're saying. It's hard to, the money and whatnot right now. And people have mentioned it before, and I drove by it yesterday, as a matter of fact. It's a danger. And, you know, a decision has to be made to do something on either side, both sides, to protect people and to really, I mean, it's easy for somebody to get into that area. And if the bridge is going to be there, then it needs to be fixed so that nothing's going to get in there. And, you know, this has been going, we know it's been going on for over a year, almost a year and a half now. And it's pretty scary. That situation over there is very scary. And I can just feel for the homeowners in that area and their children.
You know, at some point, I expect we're going to be acting, but first of all, Mr. Kotz, again, I know I'll get back with Brian again, and I get with, I hate to do something more permanent because it almost then suggests, you know, it lets Norton off the hook, in my view. I love my friends over there in Norton, but it lets them off the hook. And we've been, knock on wood, you know, what we've had in place has been sufficient. The residents, everybody's familiar, so, you know, I don't think we have too many people randomly going to go down there, but you make a good point. But the other issue is going to be if again, are we ever going to, do we ever want to revisit being a financial partner to any extent in getting that opened? Not because we have to, but maybe because we want to. And to that end, we have to make sure if we're able to, you know, are we able to expend funds on that? We'd get an opinion from the auditor on that. I believe that we can. I'm aware of joint projects that take place, but we'd have to answer that question, and then we have to see what, you know, who the other partners are and what the financial stake would be, and then we got to come to you and council and say, listen, do we want to spend some money on that to get that opened up? Because it's the New Franklin people that are suffering the hardship right now, and so to that end, you know, we may want to, but. Well, that's a decision for another day, but we're going to keep it certainly in the sites.
Thank you. Susan, we're moving to finance.
Not much to report here. We're busy working on the CARES Act information as well as our normal regular business, and we're getting down to the end of the year, so it's going to be a little hairy around there. But we are still keeping on, so that's about it for us.
All right, thank you. Have any old business? No. New business? Oh dear. Okay, so I didn't see any other questions come in. Katie, did you get anything?
No, nothing else has come in.
And I have to assume no executive session?
No.
All right, well, I think that does it. Now we got to close it.
Motion to adjourn.
Yeah, there you go. All right. Dave, go ahead.
Yeah, I just apologize, but didn't work out tonight. I appreciate Andy taking control of things. It's a little easier for you getting to see everybody and just sitting here looking at my phone. And again, good talking to everybody. And our next meeting will be November 18th, 2020. And I think we have a motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Ayes? Okay, ayes have it. All right, we'll see you all November 18th. Stay safe.
Thank you.
Paul.
Thank you, guys.